guys, welcome back to Loggery. How are you all doing? I hope all of you are doing great, all of you are fine and safe. So today we are going to analyze the CLAT 2022 question paper. I know this is a very important video. If you don't know, I'm telling you that this is a very important video because we're going to analyze the paper one by one. We are going to pick up each section and we are going to analyze each section, number one thing. And number two, we are going to create a strategy around everything. We're going to create a strategy that how you should prepare for this section, how to study, and everything I'm going to discuss in this video. I'm also going to tell you that I'm not only keeping in mind when I tell you the strategy, when I come up with the strategy, I'm not only keeping in mind the 2022 question paper of CLAT, I'm also keeping in mind the 2020 and 2021 question paper because the pattern was changed in 2020. So we have to keep all the three question papers in mind when we plan a strategy for CLAT 2023. Getting my point? So we are going to make sure that while we create a strategy, we keep CLAT 2020, 2021 as well as 2022 question papers in our mind, and links of all the question papers are available in the description box. You can go and check out the question papers on my website. It is very important to check out the question papers, right? So this is what we are going to do, the in-depth analysis of CLAT 2022 question paper. This is part one, guys. I'm going to come up with part two as well, wherein we are going to discuss things in a little more detail, because I know a lot of you want in-depth analysis of not just this paper but also the 2020, 2021, 2022 put together, because that even I want to do. So we're going to do that. We're going to come up with part two also, and that is going to be a great one because I'm going to tell you in shortcut that how to prepare in this video, right? But in that video I'm going to tell you in depth that why you're doing what you're doing, because a lot of you have queries when I say okay, this is not going to be there in the exam, so don't do this, and you have your questions, why are you saying that? So that video is going to answer all your queries. Getting my point? So let's get started with today's video. This is a very important video, so you should watch it from the starting till the end, from the beginning till the end, and you should also create notes. Okay, let's get started. Yeah guys, welcome to Loggery. I hope you're subscribed to Loggery's YouTube channel and hit that bell notification so that you do not miss any of our videos. And I hope you're following us on Instagram. We're there by the name at I am Loggery. We do pretty motivational stuff out there. If you want to stay happy, if you want to stay motivated, and if you want to stay connected a little more with Loggery, then do follow us on Instagram. Now, starting with English, in English there were 6 reading comprehension. कितने reading comprehensions were there? 6 reading comprehensions were there. 6 passages were there, followed by 5 questions. There were 30 questions. Like every passage had 5 questions. That is 6 into 5 is 30 questions. So English had 30 questions this time. Now the questions, the passages were easy to moderate. Yes, they were doable. आप solve कर सकते थे. ना तो वो बहुत ज़्यादा easy थे. They were not very easy. Not they were very difficult. They were easy to moderate. One could read them, one could understand them, but there was a particular kind of preparation required if you wanted to answer these type of questions. अगर आप answer करना चाहते थे ये questions, एक particular type of preparation चाहिए थी कि आप answer कर पाओ. That we are going to discuss in the coming slides. So yes, the questions, the passages were easy to moderate. One could easily solve the questions and could easily score around 25 to 26 if was well prepared, right? So the topics were algorithms, social media. They were talking about that during COVID, social media had gained a lot of importance. Cryptocurrency, a very favorite question, a very favorite topic of the newspaper editorial writers. You know, if you pick up the Hindu or the Indian Express, every other day you will find an editorial that is about cryptocurrency. So in a month you'll find 2 to 3 editorials, articles related to cryptocurrency. So if you're reading the newspaper, it was an easy walk for you to understand what they were saying. Then we have COVID, washing hands, germs. They were talking about that there was this scientist who actually found out that washing hands can help you in getting rid of germs, but he was declared to be, he was declared that he had some problem because he was not making sense at that point of time. But later on, it was found that he was right. Then there was public speaking. There was speeches from different famous personalities that were put together, and again, not difficult, right? First World War, fossil fuels, religion and animals, how are they related? So That was that. Now, which are the two topics that you basically have to cover if you're preparing for CLAT 2023, 2024, or 2025, or whatever you're watching this video? Reading comprehension and figures of speech. So figures of speech was there. It was there. You can easily grab good marks, like 3 to 4 marks, very easily if you prepare the topic of figures of speech. So reading comprehension is the main topic that is there in the exam. There was no grammar this time. Earlier also we had seen that in 2021 there was a little bit of grammar. Not they are not focusing on grammar anymore. That means, so our main focus should be passages, reading comprehension, and figures of speech, right? So that's that you need to cover if we have a look at the CLAT 2022 paper. How to study for English. Now, this is one thing that I'm going to tell you. Now, first of all, let's get clear on the topics. You're going to cover reading comprehension. RC is your reading comprehension. This is your most important topic, right? This is the topic that is going to be there very clearly in the exam. Number one. Number two, you can cover figures of speech. What you can cover? Figures of speech, right? Then you have your third topics. Now, these are your most important topics. This is your 5-star topic, and this can be your 4-star topic, right? If I do it like this, and then you have your grammar. फिर आपकी grammar आ जाती है. तो सबसे important topics हमारे reading comprehension है. उसके बाद figures of speech है. Grammar के अंदर we just have to cover tenses and subject verb agreement. This too. This is a circle. This is put in a box because this is not important. This you're going to do for safe side when your entire syllabus is complete, when you're done with your entire syllabus, your GK is done, your logical is done, your legal is done, then you are going to come on grammar. Nahi to nahi. You can leave these topics because grammar was not there in 2020. Very little grammar was there in 2020 and 2021. In 2022 there is no grammar, no question that was based on grammar. So this is something that we're doing extra. This is something that we are doing extra, and for competitive exams you have to understand that you cannot cover everything. You need to mark the topics as very important, somewhat important, and not at all important, but need to be done in case the question is there, right? So you need to divide the topics. So we have divided the topics for English. Now I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide. So step 1 to cover your reading comprehensions is that you need to know how you have to acquire the skill of solving different types of questions related to reading comprehension. This is your theory. Very important. You know what, when you are in your school, when in school, I know you are reading your reading comprehensions, you're doing everything, you're going to say that we are studying reading comprehensions in our schools, but I want to tell you that those reading comprehensions are based on hunting based, I would say, hunting, finding answers. But here your reading comprehensions are not based on finding answers. They are based on reading the entire passage, analyzing some lines, analyzing the entire, passage. So you need to know that how you have to solve these kind of reading comprehensions. This is very important. This is the first step and the most basic, which most of the students miss, and they just move on to the next step, that is practice. So from where you should read the theory. Now I have a free PDF. I have a free PDF that I have provided on my website www.loggery.com. You can go to my website, visit the website, and you can take out the printouts of the of the pages that talk about that are related to the theory of reading comprehension. Okay, read what do you mean by the tone of the passage, the theme of the passage. I have also done a video. You can have a look at that video also. Right, now this is your step 1. If you want to buy some book, you can buy a book by Arun Sharma, that is for your MBA exams. You can read the theory, or you can go for any book wherein it is related to competitive exams, like that of banking, or any book wherein they have explained that how you have to solve different types of questions. I would recommend for that you should visit a local bookstore also. Right, now the next thing is step 2 is practice reading comprehension. Go back to theory when you need. Now the one thing that you have done is you have read that how you have to solve different types of questions. Now I want to tell you one more thing. Whenever you're reading things, please mark, underline, make notes in the book itself, so that these you can come back and you can come back to these and you can revise. Okay, this is step number one. Now number one, you might take a lot of days, so that you're reading it, then you might go through it in the first reading. In the second reading you say, okay, now I'll mark. This can be done. You can read the theory 2 times. But the third thing, the second step to it is practice it. You need a lot of practice. Now this is something that you cannot miss. You cannot only do the theory part and you cannot say that I'm done. No, only theory won't work. Only practice also won't help. Both of these are equally important. You need to know about the theory, how to solve, and then you need to actually apply the concept of how to solve by practicing reading comprehensions, right? So this is what is the need of the hour. Now you practice. Now you're not able, you're getting some questions wrong. What you have to do here, my point is, number one is analyze why. What were you thinking that you marked this answer? What was your thought? Yeah, what was your thought process? And then check out the answer. Then go back to the passage, come back to the question. Do like this, number one, so that you are in alignment with what kind of thinking you need when you're solving reading comprehensions. This is number one. Number two that you need to do is very, very important. Go back to the theory. When you're practicing, go back to the theory, that what is theory saying? What am I understanding wrong? This is something that you have to go. You have to do this again and again. Reading theory, going back to the theory, understanding things, coming back to practice. This is what you will be doing, and there'll be a time. There'll be a time when you'll be getting your most of your answers related to RCs right. And that is when we move on to the third step, that is time management. You need to solve 30 and you just have 30 minutes to solve 5 to 6 RCs. Yes, this is the time that you have to take. You just have 30 minutes to solve 5 to 6 RCs. This speed you need to build, and yes, you can build the speed. It means you have to solve one RC in 5 minutes. One RC is equal to 5 minutes. This should be your speed. CLAT RCs can be solved in 5 minutes, because if you have a look, go through the 2022 paper, you'll see that you could analyze the entire passage, and some of the questions, as far as 3 to 4 questions, could be answered just on that analysis basis. And there were only 1 to 2 questions wherein you had to go back to the passage, to those particular lines, go through them, and you could arrive at the answer, right? So this is what you have to, this is your different stages. You start with theory, practice, theory practice happens, and at one point you're getting your answers right. Then you move on to time management. Okay, and you have to achieve that speed of 30 minutes, and you should be able to solve 5 to 6 RCs. Practice till the time you're not able to achieve this speed. This is the only way you need to do. But there, as I was talking about, a holistic, you need to your preparation should be holistic preparation. आपकी जो preparation है वो आप अकेला ये कर नहीं achieve कर सकते, because there are other skills that you need. Side skills, let's call them side skills. What are the side skills? Reading newspaper, you need a good reading speed. If you want to attempt your RC in 5 minutes, 1 RC, you need a good reading speed. You need to have a good understanding related to current trending topics, not important topics, current, genuinely very, very trending topics, right? For that, you need to read the newspaper every day. You can also hear to my analysis that happens on Examire every day. Examire, I'm taking live classes from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you cannot attend the live class, you can watch the previous day's analysis the next day. But please watch these analyses. This is very, very important. Students have found these very, very helpful. They have seen tremendous improvement. If you're not able to understand the newspaper by yourself, this is what you need to do. And even if you can take out time to just read the newspaper by yourself and also hearing the analysis, that would be a great thing, because I tend to talk about the important words. I tend to tell you about the background of the news. I explain things to you. So that is going to make your life a bit more easier. So reading speed you need to improve. Vocabulary notes from newspaper, very, very important, because if you were having a good knowledge related to the current scenario that is going around in the world, in the country, and the current topics, you could very, very easily understand those passages. Yes, number one. Number two, if you had a good reading speed, you were able to solve the passages quickly. Number three, vocabulary. Now, a lot of students think that this is going to help us directly. Yes, directly also it can help you if you have a question related to vocabulary, but it helps you more indirectly because the entire CLAT paper is passage based. In your almost everywhere you could see there are vocabulary words that have been thrown here and there, and if you know the meaning of those words, you were able to answer the questions correctly. So that means, and I can guarantee you, if you start reading the newspaper and whenever you come across a new word, note down in your notebook, find the meaning of the word, learn the meaning of the word. This is very, very important. I help you in doing that. I find the meaning of the words for you. On Examiner, on my channel, you'll find everything. And I also share the PDFs with you. Right? So noting down words in questions while solving reading comprehension. When you're solving reading comprehension, different types of words are going to be there. Try to find the meaning of those words, especially of the words that have been used in the question. Is it argumentative? They have used different kinds of words. So you need to make a separate list of these words. आपको एक separate list बनानी है. Word list is very important. If you have a good reading speed, if you have knowledge, a good knowledge related to current affairs, if you have good vocabulary, and you do all of these things, everything, you will be able to solve these RCs quickly and you'll get correct answers in your CLAT exam, right? So this is what you need to do for your reading comprehension. Current affairs. So current affairs, 35 questions were there. Moderate to difficult, I would say. Yes, current affairs was difficult, but there were questions that were doable. What is CLAT wanting from you? What do they want? CLAT consortium चाहता क्या है भाई? They want consistency. They want consistency from you. They want to test you that are you reading the newspaper every day or not? And there were questions that students were able to answer who were reading the newspaper every day. You need to read the newspaper every day and you need to also follow magazines. So what you need to do, number one, if you need to be good with your current affairs, number one, you need to follow the newspaper, right? It should be the Hindu because the Hindu is able to cover more news. Not only the Hindu is going to do, then you have to follow a magazine. You have to follow a magazine. Okay, now if you're reading the Hindu very, very nicely, you can follow Pratyogita Darpan for extra news. Okay, and if you're not following the Hindu properly, then you can follow IS Vision or Drishti IS or any of these magazines. But if you are following your The Hindu very, very nicely, you're not missing any of my sessions on Examiner, then I would say that you can follow Pratyogita Darpan also with The Hindu. And the third thing that is required, which is very, very important, is making notes. It is very, very important to have notes because most of the students who gave CLAT 2022 faced one problem. They had read current affairs, but they were not having anything to revise from. And if you are not having anything to revise from, how would you remember things? So it is revision that would help you, and making notes, handwritten notes, is very, very important. A lot of you are going to say we have missed out on January till June till July. Now is the time. Start from now. Start whenever you're watching this video, whenever. Even if 25 days are left for your exam, I would say if you can make notes from the Hindu, start doing that. That is going to help. So this is very important, and your magazine should be used as adding on. It should be used as add on to make sure that in your notes you are able to add extra news that you have missed out when it comes to from your The Hindu. You have missed out any news. This is what you need to do. Your duration, yes, you have to cover from January till your December. If you're giving CLAT 2023, you need to cover from January 2022 till your December 2022. If you're giving CLAT 2024, you need to cover from January 2023 till the time your exam is not taking place. If it takes place in December 2023 till December 2023, if it takes place in May 2024, June 2024, till then you have to cover the news. Clear कर लो अपने दिमाग में. How to study for current affairs. Now, Start reading the newspaper immediately, making notes from the Hindu. Try reading the newspaper by yourself. Also follow current affairs magazine, additional or extra information to your notes. Pratigata Darpan, GK Today, IS Vision, Drishti IS, any of this you follow, that is going to be a great thing. If you're following The Hindu very, very closely, I would say go for Pratikya Darpan or GK Today. If you're missing out on The Hindu only, then you have to go for these magazines. Okay, now for legal reasoning, 40 questions. Legal reasoning, 40 questions. Number one, writ of mandamus. There was a passage from writ of mandamus. Then there was a passage from freedom of religion. There were questions from limitations on fundamental rights, bigamy, divorce by mutual consent, special marriage act, international law, contract. Then we had United Nations Commissions on Environment and Development. Now I want to tell you, this was a major part was there from Indian Constitution. Therefore, Indian Constitution is again here very, very important. Indian Constitution can be marked as important. I also have my own course which helps you with the understanding of Indian Constitution. I would recommend that you buy that course. Link of the course is in the description box. Then we had bigamy, that is related to family law, right? Then you had divorce by mutual consent, that is also related to family law. Then we have international law, that is somewhat related to current affairs also, I would say, because yes, when it comes to international law, you'll find a lot of editorials that are there. Also, you'll find a lot of editorials related to bigamy. Then there was contract. Then you had United Nations Commission on Environment and Development. I would also put this in your legal current affairs category, that in when you go through the editorials day in and day out, you will find that there are editorials that are talking about these topics. Right now, a lot of you are going to say that I'm saying editorials, so you come up with a new concept. What is that concept? You say we are only going to read editorials and nothing else. This is not a good concept at all. My experience says that not all editorials are important, right? But there are some that are important, and also only reading editorials won't help. You have to read all important articles and editorials that are there in the newspaper if you want to prepare well, if you're a serious aspirant, right? So this is what you need to do. Now, what are your topics that we are going to discuss, and how you have to prepare for legal aptitude? Let's discuss that. Okay, how to prepare for legal reasoning. So you need to have basic understanding of the law. Now, mind you, I'm using the word understanding. I'm not using the word learning. मैं learning word नहीं use कर रही हूँ. मैं क्या use कर रही हूँ? Understanding. मतलब समझना है, याद नहीं करना. Understanding of law is very, very important when it comes to your CLAT exam. Indian Constitution, torts, contracts, criminal law, family law, international law, all of this you need to be well prepared with. And the best book is Willy. Right now, a lot of you will be having this book called AP Bharadwaj. Not at all a problem. I know you don't have your family law and international law in your AP Bharadwaj. I'll be providing family law and international law notes very soon to you guys. So no need to buy Willy's. If you have AP Bharadwaj, that is also going to do. But if you are planning to buy a new book, then invest in Willy's book. Okay, now the next is step 2 is your practicing legal reasoning questions. It's very, very important. Once you have understood the theory and everything, you move on to practicing legal reasoning questions, right? So what you have to do is you have to follow you have to solve PYQs, right? Previous year question papers of CLAT and ALET, you have to solve all the questions related to legal reasoning that are there in your CLAT and ALET. If you're new to legal reasoning, you've never solved questions related to legal reasoning, I've done a very, very basic video related to legal reasoning. You can check that out. Link will be in the description box, or you can type legal reasoning loggery and you'll find that video. It has views around 50 to 60,000. So you can check out that video, a very, very basic video explaining legal reasoning thing. Okay, now the next my point is that if we check out 2022 paper, okay, these were the topics were from these. But if we check out 2021 and 2020 paper, 2020 and 2021 paper, we need to have, even in this paper, when you have a look, when you go through logical reasoning and other parts of the paper, legal current affairs play a very important role. And even when we dive deeper into the question paper, I could really make out that there were concepts that were picked up from legal current affairs that was there in the newspaper. So here also, reading the newspaper is very important. reading the newspaper is very important. Plus, you need to follow Law Giri series, legal current affairs series, wherein I am telling you to, I'm explaining you things that okay, this is what is there. So these series, Law Giri series of legal current affairs, are very very important for CLAT. Yes, they are important. A lot of people question it. अरे ये तो बहुत डिटेल में समझा रही है. Why is she explaining in detail? Dude, the students who followed that series, whoever followed that series, they said that it was one of the major reasons they were able to get into an NLU. So this series is a very important series. We are going to continue that series, legal current affairs series by Loggery. And again, leave the link or you find the video. There's so many videos. So you need to watch those also and understand them. When I say you have to understand. When I say CLAT peeps, note it down. It means that this has a legal edge to it. Like it has a legal thing also, but it has current affairs also in it. So you need to note it down. Getting my point? We need to understand it on the legal side also, and we can get this question on the current affairs part also if we are noting it down. But if it's completely legal, then we are just understanding it. Okay, clear on this part? So we need to, for this legal aptitude, we need to understand the theory. Then we move on to our practice, PYQs. Again, the link of the book is going to be in the description box. Then following legal current affairs and having a good understanding, and understanding legal current affairs that are there in the newspaper also. For example, these days anti-defection law is being talked about again and again and again and again. You need to have a good understanding. Okay, clear hai ye wali baat? So logical reasoning. When it comes to logical reasoning, we had 30 questions from logical reasoning. Okay, problem related to college life pe passage aaya, then online teaching during COVID, biodiversity, POXO, that is protection of children from sexual offences. I want to mark that legal current affairs. So if you read the newspaper, you will come across POXO a lot of times. Juvenile Justice Act, POXO. We tend to read it again and again, and even in my legal current affairs series, you will find that I'm talking about this act time and again, right? Then we had Madras High Court judges related to humor and all that. There was an article. Then fossil fuel and India. So basically, if we go through the topics, they were all based on current affairs. They were all based on current affairs. So if someone was reading the newspaper regularly, then it was great for them, right? Now, a lot of you are going to put forward a question, I know, in the comment section, that is, what if we were not reading the newspaper from January 2022 till now, till whenever you're watching the video? I would say, jab jago tabhi savera. Right. If you start reading the newspaper from today when you're watching this video, then also it's going to be great. I'm taking live classes 6 to 7 exam. If you cannot watch the live classes, please watch those videos next day. Agar you'll watch the video, you'll watch the previous day's news the next day, koi farak nahi padta, it won't make a difference. Please attend those classes. They are for you. It is going to help you a lot, right? So current affairs again plays a very important role. I'm going to discuss in detail that how you need to prepare for logical reasoning, because a lot of you are afraid of this subject, which you should not be, because it is like 2021 exam and 2022 exam somewhere very clearly prove that it is on the easier side and not on the difficult side. How to study for logical reasoning? Now, how to study for logical reasoning? Reading newspaper daily, having good understanding of general topics. Now, you will say that should we follow the important topics? I would say no. Because if it would have been all about the important topics, we would have come across topics like that of sedition, like that of marital rape. The important topics were not there. The topics that were the burning topics, that were the talk of the town, were not there. The topics that are generally there in the newspaper were there, right? So the only students who were reading the newspaper would know that what is happening, but those who are following only the important news wouldn't be aware of those things, right? So it was there in the newspaper, these things, but they were not the burning topics. Burning का मतलब कि बहुत ही ज़्यादा important, जैसे sedition, marital rape, ठीक है, राजीव गांधी के जो assassination का केस था, there was nothing related to that. So what is CLAT wanting from us? Again, it wants that we should read consistently, and you should read the newspaper in person, right? Reading comprehension part repeated, right? Now, reading comprehension part repeated, if someone had practiced reading comprehension well, the person would have been easily able to attempt the logical reasoning section also. This happened in 2021 also and in 2022 also. Like if you were good with reading comprehension, you could have attempted logical reasoning section also with that knowledge only. So if you have basic knowledge of assumptions, arguments, inference, conclusion, you would have been able to attempt the questions. तो basic knowledge चाहिए था. अब इसके अंदर अगर थोड़ी सी ऊपर की नॉलेज ले लोगे, इन केस क्लैट का पता नहीं चलता कि थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट दे दे, बट फॉर टाइम बिंग 2021 में 2022 में इजी आया है, राइट. सो वी नीड द बेसिक नॉलेज ऑफ दीज, दैट इज assumptions, arguments, inference, conclusion, basic understanding. Now one more thing that I could find out was, if we read the overall passage and were able to answer questions on the basis of analysis of the passage. Now this is number one, दिस वॉज नॉट टाइम कंज्यूमिंग, टाइम सेविंग था ये, ठीक है ना, कि अगर आप एक पैसेज पढ़ रहे हो और उसमें से आपको 3 to 4 क्वेश्चन पूछे हैं, 5 क्वेश्चन पूछे हुए हैं, एंड मेजॉरिटी ऑफ क्वेश्चन यू आर एबल टू आंसर on the basis of the first reading, that you were able to answer, that I must tell you, yes, you were able to answer. I was talking to so many students who have cleared CLAT, and they were also of this opinion that yes, they were able to answer many questions just after after their first reading, and not going back to the passage, because the passages were on the basis of the totality of the passage, the questions were asked, so on the basis of analysis. तो मतलब आपको बार बार वापस जाने में टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना पड़ रहा था. That was a good thing. And the options were such you could easily eliminate कर पा रहे थे options, तो वो भी एक अच्छी चीज थी. There were some options that were clear कि ये तो आंसर हो ही नहीं सकता. You were easily able to eliminate 2 options very easily. And the other 2 also, you just had to put in some analysis into it, and you were able to arrive at the answer. Now this is a very good thing, right? And there were questions that were very difficult. If you were able to solve them if within a particular time, that was great. Even if you were rejecting those questions because there is negative marking, अगर आप उन questions को छोड़कर भी आ रहे थे, तब भी आपका अच्छा स्कोर बन जाता, क्योंकि मेजॉरिटी ऑफ क्वेश्चंस ईजियर साइड पे थे. तो यहाँ पर आपको लॉजिकल रीजनिंग के लिए क्या करना है? लॉजिकल रीजनिंग के लिए आपको सबसे पहले तो न्यूज़पेपर जो है वो कर ही रहे हो आप, ठीक है ना. रीडिंग स्पीड अच्छी होनी चाहिए आपकी, ठीक है. वोकैबुलरी पे अच्छा काम करा होना चाहिए. यहाँ पर भी आपका यू शुड हैव गुड वोकैबुलरी, दैट आई हैव टोल्ड यू हाउ यू हैव टू डू दैट, राइट. एंड the other thing is reading comprehension practice is going to help you here also. And if you have a basic knowledge of all of these, that is also going to help. And if beyond basic also you go, that is also going to help in case the paper is on the difficult side in 2023, 24, 25. Okay, so this is what you have to do. Now from where to read the basics? Again, I've shared a PDF, a free PDF on my website www.loggery.com. You can study from there, you can study from MK Pandey, you can study from Willy, any book you can study from, right? And again, I'll be coming up with a fresh list for the books and everything very soon. Quantitative techniques. What is quantitative techniques? Quantitative techniques is your maths. Okay, there were 15 questions, 3 passages followed by 5 questions each, and total comes to your 15 questions were there from quantitative techniques. Okay, percentage, ratio and proportion, profit and loss, average, and data interpretation basics were there. Okay, if you had done these topics, you would have been easily able to attempt data interpretation. Now, one of the mistakes that most of the students committed who were not able to clear the exam, I want to tell you, was that they left 2 sections very clearly. One was current affairs and the other one was maths, right? And if even though current affairs was difficult, but there were questions, there were good 21, 22 questions that you could have easily answered. They were easy questions. If you were reading the newspaper, if you're following a magazine, you could answer. Yes, if you wanted to go beyond those 23, 24 questions, you were required to have in-depth knowledge of certain things, or you should have been regularly reading the newspaper from a while, but some questions could be answered. On the other hand, your maths was very easy. It was not on the difficult side, but most of the students did not attempt this section. They didn't. तो आप बहुत बच्चों ने मैथ्स अटेम्प्ट ही नहीं किया, और ये सबसे बड़ी गलती है. मैथ्स भी इक्वल रोल प्ले करता है. यहाँ से अगर आप 10 to 11 मार्क्स भी उठा लेते हो, देन इट वॉज अ गुड थिंग, नॉट अ बैड थिंग. मार्क्स ही लेने हैं ना, तो यहाँ से एक अच्छा आप you could have easily picked up those numbers, and so you should not miss it out. So one thing that you learn from your seniors is that maths is equally important, current affairs is important, and even logical reasoning is equally important. You cannot say that I'm leaving leaving this section. And even if you're planning to leave one section, then you need to be boss, you need to be a pro in all the other 4 sections, which normally students are not, but they tend to leave sections. So leaving sections is not a good thing when it comes to CLAT, because CLAT peeps know that students tend to leave maths, logical reasoning, because they think that it is difficult, right? So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you attempt these sections, because they know that you tend to leave it thinking that it is difficult. They have started putting it on the easier side, because they know that most of the students do not attempt these sections. Obviously they have the entire data, who is attempting what, who is leaving what. So that is something that I'm going to tell you, that please don't leave maths. Okay, how to prepare for quantitative techniques. It is very important that you have basic knowledge of maths. You're not going to cover trigonometry from basic maths book, that is your 30 days wonder by S Chan. This is something that you need to cover. This is one of the best books, because they tell you the short formulas, shortcuts, the formulas, they give you good examples, good questions, and then they have exercises. Once you're done with your basic maths, this is your step 1, then you move on to your quantitative techniques, that is your data interpretation. Now here I've written quantitative techniques, I should have written data interpretation. So you should move on to your data interpretation. Now here is my book that I have with me, and I'm going to dictate. Now talking about data interpretation, the topics that you need to cover, there is a book called Book by Olive Board. You need to only solve level 1 questions from this book. Level 1 questions. First you are going to solve the basic maths part, then you are going to move on to your data interpretation. And in data interpretation, what you have to do is, these are the topics: bar graphs, line graph, pie charts, paragraph based caselets, tabular DI. Now you will see in 2022 we couldn't see these questions, pie chart and all, but when we have a look, when we go back 2021 and 2020, there were questions from here. And when we prepare for 23, 24, 25 CLAT examinations, we need to keep in mind the previous papers also from 2020, because the pattern had changed, right? तो हमें पिछले वाले जो हमारे papers हैं वो भी हमें ध्यान में रखने पड़ेंगे. So this is how you can prepare. Maths is something that you should prepare. Please don't go for quantitative aptitude book by R.S. Agarwal. That is a huge book. No, you don't need to go for that book. Please don't go for that book. So these are all the important topics that you need to cover, and this is how you need to prepare for each section. Now I'm going to come up with various other videos, so please subscribe to the channel. Don't miss out, because there are other various things that I have to discuss, right? And it is very important for your preparation that you know about those things, right? Skills required to clear CLAT. Now this is a very, very important thing that I want to talk about. Only covering the syllabus, only practicing is not going to help when it comes to CLAT. Have you seen how the paper looks like? I'm going to show you in a while. Now, it is very important that you have good reading speed, but you're going to ask me why? Because you have paragraphs. आपके पास हर जगह paragraphs और passages ही हैं. Passages हैं. So it is very important to have a good speed. Now you're going to ask me, how can I have a good reading speed? I don't read so much. So it is very, very important that you attend the examiner's analysis also, plus you read the newspaper by yourself also. This is very, very important. Number 1, if your speed is very, very slow, I would say buy India Today magazine and start reading it randomly. Start reading it. Read it for hours together. Whenever you find time, start reading it. And whenever you come across a word, whatever you are reading, whenever you come across a word of which you don't know the meaning, आपको एक word मिलता है जिसका आपको मतलब नहीं पता है, तो वो word आप अपनी notebook में लिखोगे, and उसका word का meaning, you're going to find the meaning of that word. This is what is very, very important. The vocabulary list created by you. Instead of following Norman Lewis, instead of reading novels that you want to read, because in CLAT they are not going to give you passages that you want to read. They will give the passages that they want you to read. You don't have a choice. You cannot say Shakespeare ka lay off novel, मुझे ये पढ़ना है, yeah, I love reading this book. No, they're going to give you the passages that they want you to read, right? So you can start reading India Today, but just for reading speed, because I know a lot of you find it reading boring. Number 1. Number 2, reading about current affairs more boring. You need to be you need to get used to reading boring stuff. If you call it boring stuff, be it boring stuff, but you have to read this if you have to clear CLAT. If you clear CLAT, then only you get into an NLU. If you have to get into an NLU, ये कड़वा गुड़ तो तुम्हें पीना पड़ेगा. Simple. Vocabulary बता दिया. वोकैबलरी डेली न्यूज़पेपर एग्जाम आयर के अंदर वर्ड मीनिंग्स बताती हूँ मैं तुम्हें, याद भी करवाती हूँ क्लास के अंदर. सो अटेंड द क्लास, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. दैट क्लास is very important. Time management, once you're done with the syllabus, it is very important that section wise time management. Again, I'm going to mention the video that I did for CLAT 2022 people, that how much time to which section you should give, this, that video is worth watching, and then you work on it, right? So you have to divide your preparation into different stages. Number one is completing the syllabus, and in the completing the syllabus part, what you have to do is, it is very important that you have your notes in the book itself. Notes in the book, you have your current affairs notes, okay? And यहाँ पर you are going to understand things, you are going to read theory, plus you are going to practice and practice. And here only, once you are done with the section, start taking section wise tests for time management. This is very important. On the then you complete the syllabus, you have your revision, one round of revision, a very rigorous revision within very less time, and then you have revision, mocks, analyzing mocks, working on weak topics, then mock, then working on weak topics, revision on sidelines, going on current affairs, reading your current affairs, revising them, all of this is how you need to prepare. This is how you need to prepare, right? Obviously there are more videos coming your way, very important videos. You should watch them, not because I am doing it, but because they are really very important. Okay, so guys, if you want to book a one-on-one session with me, if you want to talk to me, I think this is the best time to book a one-on-one session, because you have good amount of time if you want to prepare for CLAT 2023 as well as CLAT 2024. If you want to book a session, it is a paid session. The link is in the description box. Go ahead and book a session. And if you want to talk to me for free, you can chat with me in the comment section. You can talk to me on Instagram. I'm there by the name @I'mLoggery. That's that. That's it. Loggery signing off. I'll see you super soon. Please consider subscribing to the channel. That would mean the world to me. That's it. Namaskar. I'll see you super soon. Bye.